trading world, especially on Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other assets that have been taking a little dump in the last 24 hours. Well, if you've been using the VEPs, you would know that that precipitous drop was actually not unexpected at all. In fact, I've been telling people for the past month that the asset was in mean reversion to the 3012 RMLR, so you would have known when to sell. When the VEPS indicator showed you that the volatility and the entropy indicated that there was a move about to happen. And if you listen to that and learn how to read the VEPs, you would have seen for yourself when to make that move. Right? We don't follow signals. We don't give signals. We merely talk about the probabilities and the statistics. Was it likely that there would be this drop? Yes, at some point it was likely that the asset would meet the 3012 RMLR to complete that mean reversion. It could have happened at any point between then and now over the past month on the daily candle. So should you be surprised that it happened a month after the mean reversion was in progress? No, you should not be surprised. Why didn't it happen sooner? Well, because the volatility and the entropy and the probabilities and the statistics were all pointing up, generally. And generally, it went up. So, should you sell everything now? Well, first of all, it's a bit too late to sell from the very top, if that's what you were trying to do. It's not too late to sell if you think it's going to go lower. Well, what do the probabilities show? Well, that depends on the time frame. The daily has volatility that's set to drop, and then to have a little bounce, and then to go flat over the course of the day. Well, so far it's dropped very nicely, and it had a couple little bounces, and now we'll see if the rest of the day continues to drop or end up going flat. But of course, daily time frames are really high time frames, and those are not time frames for low time frame traders. That's just a time frame to look at the bigger picture. So, what does this mean? Well, that means, first of all, there is a high likelihood that after it completes the mean reversion to the power mean, which it has yet to do on the daily time frame, well, that one is currently at around 60K on the 30 length power mean, the smoothing length 10. Once it reverts to that power mean, the question will be, to where will it move next? Because the asset will always be either moving away from the power mean or mean reverting to the mean, right? Because that's what assets do, just like they move away from the RMLR or they mean revert to the RMLR. So why would you want to drop everything right now? Well, if you're a long-term holder, I'm talking years here, there probably isn't a reason to drop it right now. If you're a short-term trader, you have to look at the low time frame VEPs, and from there, that information will tell you whether the asset is about to make a further drop or a bounce. The risk at the moment is saying that the information points to a bit of a further drop on the daily and on the 4 hours. However, interestingly enough, on the 4 hour, the asset has been banging away at the third standard deviation band to the downside on the 1110 and the 3012 RMLRs. And if it does not hit the third standard deviation band to the downside on the 1110 on this candle, then it will be in mean reversion to the 1110. Yet it is currently, it has banged past again on this candle the third standard deviation band to the downside of the 3012 RMLR, which means that that is going to be at least 2 more candles before mean reversion would be in motion for that RMLR. What does that tell you? Well, it tells you targeting ranges, targeting areas, right? Probabilities to where the asset will or will not go. Probabilities that it will not hit that third standard deviation band to the downside again before it completes the mean reversion to that RMLR. Right? So once the asset is in mean reversion on the 3012 RMLR and also on the 1110 RMLR, it is far more probable, as we just saw happen on the daily candle, it's far more probable to see the mean reversion complete to those RMLRs than it is to hit those third standard deviation bands again. Which means any sells you would do, if the asset even continues to the downside, would not go further than, or even two, go further than very close to those bands. And in fact, it will not touch those bands in all likelihood. Is it possible that it can touch those bands? Yes, it is possible that even once it's in mean reversion, it can perform a major outlier and touch those bands. Is it highly probable that it will? No. It is highly probable that it will not touch those bands, and that's why you can use that as a gauge to limit where your shorts would go to and to mark where your buys would be if it were to dip near that point. Because the likelihood is it will not touch those bands and that it will revert to those RMLRs, even if it continues moving down, as we've seen it continue moving up over the past month on the daily candle, on the daily time frame. So how does that help you? It helps you with gauging your target ranges, gauging your entries and exits, so that you don't make big ridiculous moves where the asset is actually going. So I thought you should know that, and I hope you take this advice, not advice, hope you take this information and learn how to use the RMLR and other indicators of the VEPS trading system that is available to you at Alpha Trading. And you can get started learning for absolutely free with the foundation of what we call the Volatility Starter Pack. And that gives you access to the key volatility indicators that you need to know to learn how to make trades using volatility, probability, statistics. And from there, once you learn how to do that properly, if you really are a serious trader, then you can upgrade to the Pro Trader package that includes a whole lot more indicators, including entropy, and many, many more. The VRE ranges, returns oscillator, you name it. There's more than 40 indicators, and you can use any or all of them for less than $100 a month, and enjoy trading and scalping low time frame, volatility, entropy, probability, and statistics. All right, happy trading.